Hello everyone and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII. This is episode 12. Last time we did Wutai. We did Yuffie's side quests and got some nice little rewards. And now we are going to be following the trail of Aerith and heading into the direction of the City of the Ancients. We stopped off at Cosmo Canyon. I've done that off screen to get some materia and equip it to our characters, so we've had a little bit of a party shift, basically getting some HP plus materia for Barrett and for Sid, and a little bit of a rearrangement on what we're dealing with at the moment. The equipment will change soon anyway as we enter the next region, but that's what we're going with for now. So we're going to head back to the Tiny Bronco, and we're going to sail in a direction that we haven't before, to a part of the world map that we haven't visited before. So we get three major sort of continents going on here, with Wutai's one onto the side, and we haven't been to the northern section of the world map. So I feel like maybe we should check that one out. I just need to remember how to get there. It's a little bit of a difficult adventure. I think we have to go around the outside here. Yes, because this is actually one of the first locations. The first time you can go to this place is obviously when you first get the Tiny Bronco and you're searching for the Temple of the Ancients, because you can actually stop off here and say, hey, what's going on? Where are we? What's happening? So we gotta kind of make a long-winded little trip around the planet here. Check out this place. Yeah, because we can only navigate the shallow waters this time. I think it's gonna get snowy. Into the beautiful snowy region of Gaia. I'm going to curve around here. Wow! And then from here, I can actually easily head back to Midgar. There it is. There's Midgar. Very close by. Unfortunately, we cannot get back into Midgar at this time, so we will not be going back there. But let's have a look at this place. This could be important. I always found this background so wild. Just like actual, just jet plane just crashed into a dinosaur skull. So intriguing. Welcome to Bone Village, a town for nature lovers. What you want? Where is the City of the Ancients? City of the Ancients? Oh, you must mean the Forgotten City. Yep. Do you know where Aerith is? What are you talking about that girl? I warned her, but she went into the sleeping forest anyway. What are you doing? Excavating is great. It's like a history of the planet told in the land. The lunar harp is somewhere in the ground here. We could excavate it for you if you want us to. Huh? What is that? It's very interesting when it's like, huh? What are you talking about, man? I don't know what that is. I just got here. We can buy diamond bangles and rune armlets here. Both are very, very good. Obviously, you get more defense out of the diamond bangle, but the rune armlet gives you double materia growth. So things to watch out for. You can also get some cool items here by digging, but you can also buy them later if you don't want to waste time searching for them. Let's talk to these people. Excavating. You can awaken the sleeping forest if you have the lunar harp. There's the explanation. Once awake, they say the forest will open a road for you. Girl in pink who just went in used a lunar harp to get through. I want a lunar harp. Ask the guy in the tent below. We use the newest system to find buried treasure. We use bombs to make earthquakes and then check the sound waves given off by the tremors. Excavating is a slow process. The treasures we excavate are stored in the box next to the tent. Remember that? The forest just beyond here is called the Sleeping Forest. Right now, the forest is asleep. Would you imagine? Anyone who wanders in while it's asleep gets confused. You can go in, but you may never come out. But just now, a girl in pink and a man in a black cape went in. You think they'll be alright? I don't know about that. I love the design of the smoke coming out of the eyes. It's so cool. Let's, Luna Hop, Luna Schmop, let's go in. There's no way that we'll get lost, right? It's the image from the dream that we had. It wasn't just a dream. Let's take a look. What's happening down here? This music is so good. I love the music of this area, and I love this little background here, because if you use your eyes, you might see something floating behind some trees in the background. But very, very quickly, there it is! Ninja Grab! Received the Kujata materia. A summon materia that is just hovering in the sleeping forest. Summons Kujata. And we will use that. We've got added effect and Odin going on at the moment, because that is an instant death status effect. Let's give it to Barret. And now, if you don't have the Lunar Harp, you will walk through that background for an eternity. So I guess we should pay attention to this group here. Do as they say. Start digging. Dig for the lunar art, please. Alright then, I'll lend you some of my stuff. Show us where you want to dig. Then we press switch to set staff in position. Boy oh boy, I wonder where it is. I'm gonna look here for no reason whatsoever. Oh, sorry, excuse me. But I'm done. I'm done. I always thought this was interesting that you couldn't like go in here, because it looks like there's like a house in there. Alright, mate, I'm ready. Conduct the search. Oh. Staff members will calculate the tremors and dig up the buried item. The dig point is where the staff's line of vision meets. Move to the dig point. Press switch to select. Yeah. Now the staff will dig here. The result will be placed in the treasure box overnight. I always forget you don't have to actually place the staff member on the spot you want them to dig. They will just look there. First try! Blind playthrough. There it is. Lunar Harp. Who would have guessed it could have ever been in that particular spot? Beginner's luck. Let's go! Zoom in. There is another item that we do want to get there at some point. And we will. A certain key to a certain sector. We'll get it. The sleeping forest awoke. So, let me just pose this question to you. There's multiple lunar harps, right? Because, like, Aerith used one to get through, and I guess Sephiroth followed her through that same lunar harp usage. Did she go back and does it disappear and then get buried underground? There must be multiple lunar harps. Where did Aerith get her first one? Where do they just get these things? I always thought that was really strange. It's like she used the lunar harp to get through. Because I would have just assumed that because she was an ancient, that the forest would have allowed her through. Maybe she did. And then just the digger's explanation is that, oh, she must have had a lunar harp. I don't know. Something that's very interesting about this area that I really love. This is one of those Final Fantasy VII fun fact things is there's a vine here that goes up to a ledge, and there's actually like a little cave or like a little hole, and it kind of like hints towards like cut content in areas that never ended up going anywhere. But it's definitely a climbable looking vine and a ledge up there because it's I've seen this in a video of Boundary Break for Final Fantasy VII, that on the pre-rendered background, it's got a whole thing going on with it that looks like it can actually be traversable, like your character can walk on it. You just can't get up there, but you see that little cave up the top. It's pretty cool. They just obviously changed their minds. They were like, yeah, we don't need that to go anywhere. A water ring. There's no prizes for guessing what that is going to do. It's going to nullify... It's going to drain water attacks, actually. So it's even better than nullifying. You will absorb and heal water attacks. Look at... Oh my god. Barrett's chainsaw arm. It looks so silly. Cloud wielding like a Sephiroth style blade right here. Lazamune. I don't think I've ever used the chainsaw myself. I always tend to keep Barrett in a long range sort of situation. But we're using it to do stuff that's different. And it's kind of funny. It's weird seeing Cloud using such a skinny sword, too. Will Sid get a single kill? He's blind. This is a cool trio of party members to have. I love the look of this environment as well. All the coral. Like it used to... It looks like it would have all been submerged at one point. And it's all dried out. I remember this pre-rendered background would always freak me out. It was just like a really strange transition. It gives you a lot of depth though. It's pretty wild. And this is when the game starts to just get... Like, it's already kind of surreal at this point, but this is when the game starts to get really sort of fairy tale-like even. This location in general is just super special. Very unique design. Just like that enemy. Very unique design. Looks like it could fit in Nightmare Before Christmas if it was a grey color scheme. Oh, that's not fair. He didn't like me calling him a weird character design, so he's coming back for more. Tiny Barrett. It's a tiny Barrett. Minnie is so funny. Look at that small boy. He's an action figure. Oh, and then you go through to the world map. And here you go. Boop. To one of the best tracks in the whole game. God, I'm obsessed with this. That, like, and then this, like, kind of choir coming in, almost. I think this is honestly one of the most perfect tracks of the game. No flaws, no notes, it's perfect. It just completely nails the vibe of ancient, forgotten capital. Like, it's just so much importance and weight to this area, and the music absolutely nails it. Welcome to the Forgotten Capital. Let's go and take a look around. So, well, these aquatic style houses. It's hard to put into words and really sort of speak about just the sheer impact this area has on my heart and soul, you know. Here's a bed. I'm beat. Why don't we get some rest? Not yet. Hiya! Received enemy skill materia though. There you go. There's our third enemy skill, which is very nice. And we'll throw it on. So we now have an enemy skill materia on everyone. And that's fine. We will not rest at this time, however. We'll come back to this spot because we're looking around, we're investigating. I don't even want to talk much because I'm just listening to the music. You can interact with these, I believe. It's like, ugh! Words of the ancients. No good. I can't understand. Now, in the remake, there is a song track titled 7 Seconds Till the End. At least I think that's the title for it. Might be called something else, but that's the scene that's basically right at the end of Remake with Sephiroth and Cloud. And it's a very perfect choice for the song to include that same sort of beat. Now this is the Aurora Armlet draining cold attacks. So I might chuck that on too. We'll give that to Cloud. We'll give him some 54 magic defense. So we can give him his lightning. And we'll also put on our MP plus, actually. There you go, perfect. There's 2 entrances to that location. You can get there over the other side as well. Yeah, realistically, going through Final Fantasy VII, you go through a lot of grounded locations, a lot of sort of realistic ones. You know, you go from Midgar being like this diesel punk city, normal village of Calm, you go to a farm, there's like a Fort Condor Tower thing, that's quite cool, that's fantastical. Junon Harbor, very realistic sort of, you know, buildings and living conditions, and Costa del Sol, holiday resort, Gold Saucer, you know, amusement park sort of thing. You've got the wrecked town of Coral, you go to Gongaga Village, also destroyed. Cosmo Canyon is this beautiful spiritual journey. Nibelheim is just this quaint old village that's been rebuilt after burning down 5 years ago. And then you've got Rocket Town, which, you know, and then you get Wutai, and all of these are very like sort of realistic and grounded locations. So you never get to this point where the game is hitting you with anything super fantasy and magical and fairy tale like. It's there, it's interwoven in the story, you know, when they talk about materia and magic and Genova and all of this stuff is coming across, being a calamity from the skies. But then you go to the Temple of the Ancients and you start learning all about those. You got like the weird characters and the murals and the black materia, and Meteor starts coming up. And then you go to this place and you listen to this music and you see this art direction, this visual. This is the most magical and fantastical location that we've come to in the game, and deservedly so. It's such this beautiful way to show the difference between the world of Final Fantasy VII as it is now and how it was back during the Ancients' time. Now, if we want to go, I believe where I want to go is around the back here, just to have a little bit of a look-see. Yeah, this is how you get onto the other side. This is where I should have gone before. Let's see this. Just another cool view of this background area, which is really nice. And there's obviously the spot all the way at the top there. Leave this path off to the right alone, because I think we're not even allowed to go through here. Yeah. Hey, Cloud! You thinking of going skiing? If we want to find Aerith, we go that way. Yeah, I was like, I think we're not even allowed to go that way. Let's take a look in this direction. Yeah, this piece of music is probably top 5 of the whole game, which is big because the whole soundtrack is immaculate. Look at this area. So beautiful. There's a fishy. An interesting room. You're just a fish chilling in there. Then we have the comet materia. God damn. That's a big one. I'll give that to Cloud, actually. He can have comet, and I'll give tier 3 lightning to Barrett. Oh, actually... how's the level up going on this? We'll just keep him with that, because he'll get to level it up. And now that we've grabbed the items that we can find in this area, I think we should take that rest. We should go to sleep, have a bit of a nap. Really, really strange to actually be at this point of the game already. It came sooner than I thought it would, really. But then at the same time, it feels quite appropriate. It's just another thing that's really interesting about recording a Let's Play and actually seeing the story events and how I choose to play the game split up into these segments. That you're like, wow, this is how the game actually goes. It's all like jumbled up in my memory, which I think is very fun. Let's get some rest. I feel it. Cloud, what is it? Aerith is here, and so is Sephiroth. What? Sephiroth? Hey, how do you know? It's not an excuse. I feel it in my soul. Then we better get up off of our lazy asses. Right. Let's hurry and find Aerith. I really like that there's a genuine lighting change as well to signify that we've woken up in the middle of the night. It's really cool. Just dims all the background a little bit. Aerith's voice coming from there. Look at this as a location, right? So tucked away in that house was a little secret entrance that goes down to more of an actual ancient structure underneath. So many crucial points to just make a new save file for. Aerith. Cloud! Dumb shit! Ah, what are you making me do? Aerith. This can't be real. Do not worry. Soon the girl will become part of the planet's energy. All that is left is to go north. The promised land waits for me over the snowy fields. There, I will become a new being by uniting with the planet, as with this girl. Shut up. The cycle of nature and your stupid plan don't mean a thing. Aerith is gone. Aerith will no longer talk, no longer laugh, cry, or get angry. What about us? What are we supposed to do? What is this pain? My fingers are tingling. My mouth is dry. My eyes are burning. What are you saying? Are you trying to tell me you have feelings now? Of course! What do you think I am? Stop acting as if you're sad. And there's no need to act as if you're angry either. Because, Cloud, you are... What are we? What are we, Sephiroth? Tell me! You bastard. One of the most iconic moments in all of video games has just been witnessed. And it's a goddamn travesty. And then when you're a child, or you're a child from Apocalypse, and you've played this game for so long, when you witness the death of a party member, it really stays with you. This was the first death in a video game that I had ever witnessed. It's really poor timing. That was the first death that I ever witnessed in a video game. And I had all of my equipment on Aerith. I think I'd used her at least quite a bit with equipment and materia and all of that, so it was like genuine shock. I didn't even think it was possible, right? Because I'd never played a JRPG before, I wasn't a Final Fantasy expert, like, this was my first Final Fantasy game, this was one of my first, like, games ever that I played, my first proper game. And I'm like, wait, party members can die? We're not just characters in this magical happily ever after story? I've lost such a crucial character to the story. It's just one of those cutscenes that just really blows your mind that they even went there. There's Cloud learning Aqualung, which is nice. This music playing while you do a boss fight is crazy. Also, the game dropping a boss fight on you right after killing a main character is also so crazy. It's like, you really went there, huh? In Genova, no less. Our second Genova boss fight. Now, in the remake, we've fought Genova once at the Shinra building, which was crazy. So it really makes me wonder how they're going to do it in Rebirth, because there's 2 Genova fights in Rebirth. On the ship to Costa del Sol and here. Because this is the end of Rebirth. Right, finishing move, Meteor Rain. Have we done enough damage? Finisher! Yes! Meteor Rain finish, that's a good one. There you go. Because the point we are currently at in the story is the end of Disc 1. And this is where Rebirth is confirmed to finish. Which is crazy. Oh, and gaining finishing touch. Very nice. Wizard Bracelet drop. Because you are a puppet. That comes from Genova. I'm a puppet? I absolutely love Barrett being there for that, with his hand on Cloud's shoulder. Sid was probably not the most emotional choice to bring along. I think Tifa is usually my favorite. Tifa's definitely my favorite to include because there's a lot more of an emotional connection there. This is another thing that I'm really curious about with Sid. He's in the Rebirth trailer, he's like, I want to help you, Aerith. So we'll see how that goes. And off goes her materia that does nothing. It was in her headband. Everyone, listen to me. I'm Cloud, ex-soldier, born in Nibelheim. I came to settle up with Sephiroth. I heard that before. I came here by my own free will, or so I thought. However, to tell the truth, I'm afraid of myself. There is a part of me that I don't understand. That part of me that made me give black materia to Sephiroth. If you hadn't stopped me, Aerith might have been. There's something inside of me. A person who is not really me. That's why I should quit this journey before I do something terrible. But I am going. He destroyed my hometown 5 years ago, killed Aerith, and is now trying to destroy the planet. I'll never forgive Sephiroth. I must go on. I have a favor to ask of you. Will you all come with me? To save me from doing something terrible. I don't know, man. I don't know how Aerith tried to save the planet from the meteor. And I guess now we'll never know. But we still have a chance. We must get that black materia back before Sephiroth uses it. Let's go. And there it is. End of part 1. And I kind of really wish that during that, after the fight with Genova, that sequence, I wish your whole party was there. Because they are with you. Because you've got Cloud going, all right, everyone, listen up. And I wish that it was every single party member. I think it's such a significant event that everyone deserves to be there instead of just who you had directly in your party. Same with that scene. Because that should be a significant sort of group gathering of emotional grief for the whole party, being like, all right, everyone, I need you guys to help and step in because I feel like I'm losing my mind because all of these things are happening. Like, what the hell's going on with Cloud, you know? But it's only just Sid and Barrett Barrett just says, I don't know, man. You know? I feel like they could do something different with that. And I think Rebirth will obviously handle that very differently. This is the big event that everyone is anticipating who has played the original, or everyone who is aware of this death. It's probably close to the single most infamous death in video game history. I would be bold enough to make that claim. It does kind of feel that way. And there's a lot of doubt with Rebirth on how this is going to be handled. Will it be someone else? Will it be a fake out? Will it play out differently? Is there going to be, the alternate timeline stuff that's coming into play with Zack being alive in a different timeline that we've been seeing in some of the rebirth footage? It's really questionable. And I feel like we are going to experience some sort of fuckery, but I also do think that Aerith will still go out in the primary timeline the same way, because they have stated that for all intents and purposes, the remake trilogy of Final Fantasy VII will still tie into Advent Children. And for that to tie into Advent Children, Aerith and Zack have to be dead in their little heaven. Or maybe they're going to recontextualize that and it's them in another timeline. Who knows, man? Right? They could pull any sort of weird shit. And I'm terrified of the weird shit, right? Because in Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first part of the trilogy, I was in love and thinking 10 out of 10 throughout 99% of the playthrough. And then when I got to the ending sequence, I panicked and I went, oh no, Kingdom Hearts. Because I love Kingdom Hearts. I'm a childhood Kingdom Hearts fan. I grew up with the series. However, when I start getting a Kingdom Hearts vibe in Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'm like, Nomura, please, no. Because you got this giant dark side, heartless boss, king of the plot ghosts that you have to fight, and it starts doing all of this crazy shit. And then you fight Sephiroth, and it was just like, it really rubbed me the wrong way the first time when I was playing, because it felt like they were forcing a final boss to this game and wouldn't let it just sort of end in the way that the original did at Midgar, like finishing off with the motor ball as the final boss, escaping from the Shinra building, and then being like, to be continued. They needed to throw in like a multitude of boss battles and Sephiroth being weird and taking you to the edge of creation itself just to be like, what are you going to do with those 7 seconds, Cloud? And just being very cryptic and saying, now is not the time, because their final fight needs to happen much, much later. But it really rubbed me the wrong way initially. And then I sat on it, I thought about it, I started seeing people's sort of discussions and theories taking place. And you've got Maximilian Dude, who really is this plethora of Final Fantasy VII passion that I love and adore, talking about, his thoughts on the ending and a lot of good perspective to really take on board as well, I feel. And it helped me come to terms with the weird remake ending and play through it again and be more excited for the potential future of where things are going. And I think that first ending really, the first time reaction to that ending, I was just totally panicking because I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Zack's alive now. They're changing things. Zack even showing up and being addressed this early was insane. And it was just those things that the remake are obviously handling very differently. Sephiroth is a very well-known character in pop culture now. Zack is a very well-known character in Final Fantasy lore. So showing these characters at this point for Final Fantasy fans makes a lot more sense than the original game. But, obviously in the original, they held off on all of these things till later. So now Rebirth is going to be, here's a split timeline scenario. Zack's kicking and screaming in this alternate timeline, but everyone else is dead as a result. Like all the Avalanche members except for Biggs is dead. And then you've got the Prime timeline where Zack's dead. Everything is as it should be. Biggs and Jesse perished in the pillar, and then Wedge perished ? At the Shinra building. But like, there's no body. Maybe he had a parachute. Who knows? But we have no idea. But probably course corrected by the plot ghosts that he unfortunately did not get to survive. But this is going to be the next. This is the point of me rambling on this. This is going to be the next big, major, scary ending point for part 2. Is we're assuming that Aerith will perish, and then we'll fight Genova and then that will be sort of the final sequence potentially. Are we going to fight Sephiroth again? Or will it just be Genova? Will it be something else entirely? And then will we go snowboarding right after? Probably not. But this is going to be a tragic, upsetting ending, I think, regardless. We're about to enter the Empire Strikes Back of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, and it's nuts. It really is. That they're just like, what's going to happen, guys? And they're drumming up this weird mystery, and you've got the key art, which has Sephiroth, and in the middle of Aerith and Tifa, and, you know, there's dialogue that's talking about, you know, certain characters as well in the trailers, that they're definitely trying to sow those seeds of doubt of what's going to happen, but then also officially going, yeah, it's going to tie into the other stuff, so don't worry about it, guys. So we're being like completely bamboozled, really. Like in Remake, Sephiroth stabs Barrett, which really shocked me. And I was like, okay, they're deciding to do that. And obviously you've got the plot ghosts, and they're like, Barrett's not supposed to die. So, excuse me. So they bring him back to life, you know, because the plot ghosts can do that. And it was this very like sort of meta narrative with, it seemed like Sephiroth was not the Sephiroth that we knew from the original, but he sort of had context of the future. Like he was aware of everything that happens, even like Advent Children and beyond, because he takes Cloud to the edge of creation. He's like, nah, now's not the time. And the way that he addresses characters and talks about things, and even Aerith to an extent, they both sort of act like they're outside of the main narrative, and they have knowledge that they shouldn't have, which again casts a lot of doubt on this specific sequence in Rebirth. Is are Sephiroth and Aerith aware of this encounter? Is this a fixed point in time that they're going to try and shift? Will they fake it out and then something will happen later? I don't know. But the plot ghosts have been dealt with. We killed the god of all plot ghosts, so they can't interfere anymore. And that was like Nomura doing his weird meta commentary on the fans being like, it has to be this way. So then the fans became the plot ghosts. We hate the plot ghosts. It's just so contrived, you know. It was like it added this level of meta commentary to the remake storyline that I didn't really feel like was necessary or I cared for at all, because it's just like, just have the events in the story play out, you know, instead of like, we must do things exactly this way and the ghosts are forcing it to be this way, and then, oh my god, we're getting glimpses and visions into our future, and that's bleak, so we can't. We have to destroy the plot ghosts so we can forge our own future, and then things are probably going to play out the same anyway, but we'll see. It's just weird when these characters start getting weird glimpses of the future and they think that by destroying the plot ghosts, they're able to prevent that, but they're probably going to end up just playing into the events the same anyway. Who knows? It's a whole sort of, what is the word that I'm looking for? It's a whole can of worms to open, to really get into what the hell are they cooking with the remake trilogy. And we won't know until the final part is out in probably 2028 or something like that. And something that I really do appreciate at the very least about them doing all of this stuff is it's so much better than them playing it safe and doing everything one-to-one. I do like, despite what I've just said, there being like, I do like there being changes to a certain extent. Some of them I'm like, but there are some things that are really amazing, because what they do is that creates such a amazing constant conversation and theorizing and speculation, and there's this whole what the hell's going to happen, and this is super exciting, that you don't really get if they just do it one-to-one, because you finish it, then everyone sits there and goes, okay, cool, that played out as I expected, and now I just wait until the next part, you know, that sort of thing. But there's so much more excitement surrounding the second part, and also caution and stress and anxiety going into it. And I feel like that is a good way to handle people's emotions going into a story as meaningful as this, with characters as important to people as these characters are, and an event as significant and impactful and iconic as Aerith's death. It's just a lot of mystery surrounding what they're exactly going to do. But I'm very excited nonetheless. I think I am predicting that I might have the exact same approach through Rebirth as I did with the remake. So I'm going to go through that game like 10 out of 10 for the whole thing. And then the ending might just completely make me go, oh, what are they doing? And then I'll need to sit on it and I'll think about it and I'll go, you know what? Okay, sure. We'll see. But that's the thing. Always genuine reactions on this channel, because Final Fantasy VII, my favorite game of all time, right? And it would be so easy for me to go through the remake and just always be like, yeah, the game's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. The game's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. I love Final Fantasy VII so much. Yeah. And just completely disregard anything. Like, I don't want to get to the ending of a game and go, oh no, I'm not really enjoying this. After playing a whole game and going, I'm really enjoying this, you know? So it's a genuine response and reaction for the remake storyline. And we'll just have to see how we go for Rebirth. But the reason we're having such a big conversation about Rebirth right now, with the ending of this episode as we come to a close in part 1, is this is going to be where we pause our Final Fantasy VII original playthrough. So we are going to be stopping here, and we are waiting for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to come out, and then I'm going to be playing through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the channel, naturally, because I am so very excited for it. And then we're going to play through what we've just played through in this game, going through leaving Midgar, going to Calm, the Chocobo Ranch, blah, 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 going through all of these events leading up to the Forgotten Capital and the end of Disc 1, which is confirmed to be the ending point of Rebirth. So we'll be able to now see everything we've just experienced in the playthrough so far on a remake level. And then once we've completed Rebirth, we then will have so much to talk about, where so much more is recontextualized for the rest of the game. And then when we go through Disc 2 and 3, we'll be able to sort of talk about it and see how they're going to handle things with the trajectory of how Rebirth ends. And I feel like that is just a great opportunity to be able to play the original game while talking about that kind of stuff. And it won't be constant, and because the game will be quite fresh and not everyone will have the opportunity to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth upon release, when I do pick up my Final Fantasy VII playthrough, this one again, when I talk about Rebirth stuff, I will put spoiler warnings. I will even have it on screen talking about Rebirth, and then I'll ramble so you can mute in those sections, and then we can go back to talking about the original game. So I'll probably have some dedicated Rebirth discussion time when we pick the playthrough back up. I might even save it for the end of an episode, be like, here's what we experienced in this episode, and now I'm going to talk about it with Rebirth context. So we might do it that way. So it's still going to be a playthrough that people can watch if you haven't got around to playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth super early on. I'll be playing it day one. I simply must, but I know that that's not feasible for anyone and everyone. So I do want to take that into account, that if you do want to continue watching the Final Fantasy VII original game playthrough when we pick it back up, I will accommodate that for you, and I won't just be blurting out Rebirth spoilers, because it'll be so much more fresh than the remake is, for example, and the rest of the compilation of Final Fantasy VII. But thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Final Fantasy VII, a shorter one, but the most emotionally impactful one. A very beautiful and sad sequence taking place. We push on with a resolve to continue stopping Sephiroth from destroying the world. Thank you so much for joining me for the Final Fantasy VII playthrough so far, and I will see you after we finish Rebirth.